Afternoon, Commissioners. I'd like to call the Monday, November 18th, 2024 Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee to order. First item is Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next item is adoption agenda. I need a motion to adopt. Moved by Wallace, supported by Kraft. Changes to the agenda? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is approval of minutes dated November 14th, 2024. Need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Support Van Sickle.
Moved by Grote, supported by Van Sickle. Any changes to the minutes? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 9-0.
All right, next item is public participation. This is the first opportunity for public participation for those who would like to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on an item which is on today's agenda. There'll also be a second opportunity for public participation for those who would like to speak on any issue. Anyone from the public like to speak? Agenda items only. Going once, twice. We'll close public participation. Okay, next is proposed fiscal year 2025 budget amendments. Commissioners, we have a number of these. They're pretty clear, it seems to me, based on the agenda, but I will explain them in detail as we go through them. And certainly, as we've done in the past, we vote on all these amendments individually. And I will answer any questions, and we also have some department heads here, the executive office is here, to answer any further questions that we may have on any of these issues. Just to kind of summarize based on the agenda and the appropriation here, it appears that the appropriation of approximately $5 million to a newly created Central Intake and Assessment Center Fund seems to be where most of these amendments are going. So that being said, we're going to start with the first one, and we'll go through each one of these. And once we get to the end, I'll pause here with staff. We got staff right behind me, which is great. Feel like Harold, his committee. But they will tally everything up for us and see exactly where we're at. And we also have our independent counsel here as well, Webster, if there's any questions specific on the legal side. I think I've summarized everything. Any questions before we begin? Okay. All right, first item. Item A. This is eliminate all new general fund positions, page A15, except those required to support the new probate court judge. I need a motion on item A.
Support.
Made by Commissioner Wallace, supported by Commissioner Zinner. As you can see, Commissioners, what the effect of this, this is specifically personnel in animal control, elections, district court, IT, purchasing, public works, and the sheriff. Total amount there is all noted. Any questions specific to this amendment? Commissioner Haw.
Thank you, Chair. As we had discussed, I was legitimately concerned in addition to some of the other positions, but more importantly on the Sheriff's Department. He had made a case for that new unit he wanted to establish. Understanding the logic, I will support the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions on this amendment? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, we'll move to item B. This is a match the contract services for both the Board of Commissioners and the Executive Office at $275,000. That effect is for contract services specifically In the BOC office, from 279.6 to 275, and for the county executive, from 298.3 to 275. I'll take a motion on item B.
Support.
Moved by Lucido, supported by Van Sickle. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is item C. This is reduced facilities and operations, supplies and services budget by $141,500. The other side of this transaction is the general fund, I believe. Any questions on this? Oh, I'll take a motion on item C.
So move.
Support.
Moved by Perna, supported by Lucido. Any questions on item C? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is item D. This is reduce facilities and operations repairs and maintenance budget by $285,500, similar to the last amendment. I'll take a motion on item D.
So
Moved by Lucido, supported by Wallace. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is item E. This is the transfer of the Finance Department's contract services budget to fund an internal control review with $200,000 and increase the amount budgeted for the annual audit by $10,000. This is simply going from finance contract services to the appropriations page in our budget.
motion to support.
Moved by Grote, supported by Perna. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is item F. This is reduce the health and community services, supplies and services budget by $36,600. I'll take a motion on item F.
So move.
Moved by Commissioner Kraft, supported by Commissioner Hall. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is reducing the human resources and labor relations budget by $15,000.
Motion
This
to
is in our
support.
contract services line item specifically. Take a motion on item G.
Motion to support.
Moved by Commissioner Grote and supported by Commissioner Wallace. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next is item H. This is an amendment to reduce the juvenile court supplies and services budget by $100,000.
So move.
Made by Haas, supported by Wallace. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Next item is I, reduce the planning and economic development contract services budget by $85,000. Specifically to their contract services line item. Take a motion on I.
Support.
Moved by Wallace, supported by Grote. Any questions on this item, Commissioners? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is item J. This is transferring $17,200 in the prosecutor's office from conferences and training to personnel to fund requested reclassification. This is specifically in personnel and conferences and training line items in their budget. I'll take a motion on J. Moved by Zinner, supported by Lucido. Commissioner Lucido.
Thank you. Can you just explain this one? I am a little confused on why we're adding 17.2 to their personnel line item.
To transfer.
Specifically to that line item, we're moving the prosecutor is looking to reclassify an employee, specifically in their personnel department. And they will have to work with HR in the executive office to complete that. So,
You're putting it in the conference and training and then letting them do the move.
no, we're moving it from conferences and training and moving it into personnel.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Any other questions in this item?
Joe,
Cheryl?
thank you, Chair. It's being moved from his budget, conference and training into
Yes.
personnel.
Correct.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lucido?
So did they request an increase for this position already in the budget?
They did during their budget hearing.
But it wasn't actually in our budget. They just requested it.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
The next item is item K. This is to increase the Clinton River Watershed Council appropriation to $22,530 from $7,500 that was in the budget.
Support Zinner.
Moved by Wallace, supported by Zinner. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is item L. This is a decrease to the appropriations for professional development initiative by $60,000. That is in the appropriations budget, specifically in that appropriation, reducing it from 185 to 125. I'll take a motion on L.
Motion to support.
Moved by Grote, supported by Wallace. Any questions on L? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is item M. This is the elimination of the More Than a Job campaign in the amount of $50,000, specifically in appropriations budget. I'll take a motion on M.
Motion to support. Support Zinner.
Moved by Grote, supported by Zinner. Any questions on this amendment? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is item N. This is an amendment to reduce the non-motorized trails, supplies and services line item by $50,000 from $200,000 to $150,000. I'll take a motion on item N.
Motion Perna.
Support Van Sickle.
Made by Perna, supported by Van Sickle. Any questions on this amendment? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is item O. This is an increase to the community corrections personnel budget by $13,000 to correct an accidental omission in that budget specifically. So we're transferring general fund dollars into the personnel line item specifically for community corrections, and also the operating transfers that coordinates with the $13,000 as well. I'll take a motion on O.
Support.
Made by Hawes, supported by Lucido. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is item P. This is to reduce the transfer in from the Delinquent Tax Revolving Fund by $750,000, taking that from $8,750 to $8 million. I'll take a motion on P.
Support Zinner.
Moved by Wallace, supported by Zinner. Any questions on this item?
Joe, could you explain that, please?
Yes, Commissioner. So right now, currently in the budget, we have an operating transfer in from that fund for $8,750,000, and we are reducing it to $8 million.
Thank you.
Any other questions on this item? Commissioner Grote?
Can we have legal counsel give the opinion before we vote on it?
Yes, you
Explain
can.
more on the topic?
Sure, if you'd like to.
Thank you.
Pete, would you like to address Commissioner Grote's question?
Sure. At a very high level, there's a recommendation of a transfer of $8.750 million from the DTRF as declared, is my understanding, is declared by surplus by the treasurer, and that you have a right to make that transfer under the DTRF statute. You could then make it less if you wish, and that's what this resolution is doing. You're making the transfer from DTRF from 8.75 to 8.0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. And Commissioner Grote, is it any other questions?
No, thank you.
Any other questions on this item? Please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, next item is item Q. This is to move each department's capital outlay budget into the non-departmental capital outlay budget and reduce the total budget. So this one, I'm gonna say is a little tricky, but it's not that tricky. So each department that's listed here on our detailed entry shows an amount that they have listed for a capital outlay. And we are moving that amount to one line item, which is non-departmental in total. So we're simply just allocating those funds specifically into that one line item rather than individually into each budget. I will take a motion, item Q. Made by Commissioner Kraft, supported by Commissioner Lucido. Any questions on this item? And just to be clear, Commissioners, that new amount there, also the total $10,749,770 is the new proposed capital outlay. By doing so, this also increases fund balance by $100,000. Seeing no questions, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, and the last one, item R, this is an amendment to appropriate $5 million to a newly created Central Intake and Assessment Center Fund. I'll take a motion to go by R. Commissioner Hall, supported by Commissioner Lucido. Any questions on this? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, Commissioners. It was probably one of the quickest budgets I've ever had to run, so. That being said, we are now through the budget portion here. Also, there were some corrections in here that were part of that last entry. I didn't mention that, but just some typo errors that were part of that, so that's all inclusive. So now what will happen is this will go back to the executive and finance, and we'll finalize everything. Obviously, we need to pass this at full board on Thursday, which will be this Thursday. Commissioner Brown can't speak today, but he's given us the thumbs up that will obviously be on Thursday's full board. So we'll finalize this all on Thursday. Also, just want to thank all of our department heads, our executive office, finance, our staff, Vice Chair Kraft, The amount of time and hours and work and everything that goes into this budget is exhausting for our employees, let's just put it that way. So they put a lot of time into this. We ask a lot of questions. Every single question that we've answered, we did receive an answer by that department or by the executive's office, so we thank them for getting that information back to us so we could make decisions on all these items. And I think this is how good governments run. We ask questions, we get answers, we make decisions as a board. I think everyone's questions were answered. I think this was done in a timely manner. So thank you, everyone across the board, for their help on getting this through. Next item is correspondence. This is a budget follow-up received. Just need a motion to receive and file.
Support.
Moved by Grote. Support. Supported by Lucido. Any questions on the follow-up? Please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, the next item is public participation. This is the opportunity for the public to participate. For those who would like to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on any issue. Would anyone from the public like to speak? Going once, twice. We'll close public participation. Commissioner comments? Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to make the full board aware I attended the SMART meeting this morning. Lasted 2 hours and 20 minutes. The director, whom the chairman and I had met with back in June, reiterated their promises about increasing the amount of small vehicles that run locally in the communities. We had an issue in Roseville with 13 different individual stops, bus stops, that were becoming quite the eyesore for the community. In our meeting in June, the director had indicated that they were going to deal with that. What he did today was commit to that you can take back to your local municipalities any bus stop that's being cleaned utilizing either city services, township services, or an independent contractor can be billed through the local municipality now back to SMART. They don't have the resources. I think he said there was 380 individual bus stop locations in Macomb County to continuously clean them. We started in Roseville about a month ago, utilizing our local DPW people to a head count and a half daily, going up and down and cleaning the 13 spots. Now we have, and our city manager is working out the details, the opportunity to build that amount of resource or subcontract it out to have done back to SMART, which was a major issue when we talked to him back in June. He recognized that the resource wasn't there to accommodate that commitment, so this is their agreement now. So I thought I'd make everybody aware of that. JP did a fantastic job as our representative on the SMART committee. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Wallace.
I just want to say great job to the commissioners on this budget season. I know we still have a part of the process to go, but great job, especially to our chair here, Commissioner Sabatini and Kraft. Great job, guys. And you guys all did so well that I want to personally invite you to the Mount Clemens Parade this Saturday. Starts at 10 a.m., but I know we have to be there earlier. Ask Crystal. But I hope to see you all this Saturday. I know we have more meetings, so I'll bring it up again just so you don't forget. That's it.
If it's minus 30, is that an award or a punishment? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wallace. Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to echo Commissioner Sabatini's comments and Commissioner Wallace's comments. Our staff all across the board in this county has been incredibly helpful during this process. It has been probably the most difficult one since I've been on this board the last 8 years, just because of the technological challenges that we've had of transferring over to a new software and things like that. But at the end of the day, we made it. It's November. We're not here December 31st trying to decide on a budget. We're a month ahead of schedule. And if there are any vetoes that come up, we still have time to handle that in a timely fashion before the end of the year. So I want to thank the executive's office, the entire department's staff, and our staff especially too, because Commissioner Sabatini and I have been keeping them busy for the last month or so, day in, day out, late nights, early mornings. So I want to thank our staff for that as well. And at the beginning of this, I've been preaching about the central intake and finding dollars for that since the beginning, and we've done that with this budget. So I'm really proud of that, and I look forward to moving forward the next few years and being able to fully fund this thing and get it off the ground. So thank you again, Chair Sabatini. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner. Commissioner Zinner.
Thank you, Chair, and Vice Chair Kraft, and all the commissioners are great to work with, as Antoinette had said. And I especially like that we can approach you two especially, and other commissioners, the fact that we can dialogue together and get answers and pose questions and really, if we have a question, we can always go to you guys, and we can all, as I say, dialogue together, and we put the puzzle pieces together, and it kind of works out great. I know you guys put in endless hours, as others do, and I appreciate it, and I really appreciate the way we can work together. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hall?
Thank you, Chair. Anytime you have a document the magnitude of these two books, the amount of people that were involved in this process, working through the many issues, was astronomical. I'd like to thank the Executive's Office, all the department heads, Vice Chair Kraft, and especially Chairman Sabatini. We've had numerous conversations on the phone, plus all the department heads coming in. Joe, it probably wouldn't have gotten through this without you and Phil. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank Mark Delden and Andrew and the entire finance team. We would never have gotten done at this part of the process at this particular juncture without working together. So it's a demonstration of what can be done when we all work together as a team, and I think this is a perfect example for years to come. So thank you. That's all I have, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And our staff. Kyle and Krista always bear the blunt of all of our questions, so.
They do. Okay, seeing no other comments, take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Moved by Haas,
Tell
supported
Joe I
by
did it.
Wallace. Please vote.
Public participation.
Thank you, everybody.